So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. First, the headlines. NSCDC destroys illegal refining sites in Iche, River State. Governor Soludo sacks 21 local government council transition committee chairmen. Tinubu appoints Ngelale as special envoy on climate action. FG says CNG vehicles will reduce Nigeria's inflation. Helicopter carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi crashes. Super Eagles to meet Benin Republic June 10th. DJ Copy speaks on sharing mistakes with other women.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trend.
Special Intelligence Squad of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Commandant General said they have destroyed an illegal refining site containing over 100,000 liters of stolen crude oil in Adobe Settlement in Iche local government area, River State. According to the commander of the squad, Dandara Apollos, the success resulted from credible intelligence that reported suspects have vandalized a multinational company's wellhead after suspects had connected galvanized metal pipes with large hoses to siphon and locally process the crude oil. NSCDC spokesman Babawale Afolabi, in a statement, said the SIS promptly acted on the information, uncovering several sites where significant illegal refining activities were taking place, and were able to arrest one Godspower Oyibo from Delta State, who is now assisting them with further investigation. Analysts have frowned at Governor Fubara's comment against the past administration in River State. Speaking on Atlantic Open Air, a political analyst, Ifeanyi Ugochukwu, described Governor Fubara's comment as contradictory on the past administration and describing it as incompetent.
There is a lot of contradiction when you look at it on the broader perspective. The governor is saying that he has had only 3 months to settle down, while in another breath he will say there is no crisis. So is it that there is a crisis of gathering of thought, choice of words in the mind of the governor of River State, Similaye Fubara, with due respect to his office? And again, when you look at it, you find out that despite the conflicting statements by him, you will also note that the governor made a very interesting statement by trying to compare himself with the past administrations.
Ugochukwu Ifeanyi also urged the governor to concentrate on delivering the dividends of governance to the people and not time for politics.
The governor knows that he's been economical with the truth. He's been sagacious with his statements. This is not time for politicking. You're not wooing people to come and vote for you. The electioneering campaigns, as they will say, has come and the governor knows that.
This is coming after the River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara had asserted that the success of service and project delivery within his first year in office is better than the 8 years spent by the immediate past administration in the state. Suspected gunmen have kidnapped the paramount ruler of Umbo local government area of Akwa Ibom State, HRM Ogwong Okone, a bank at his palace in Igbugu, though the abductors are yet to contact the family of the victim for a possible ransom. The Akwa Ibom State Police Command has confirmed the abduction of the monarch. The police public relations officer of the command, ASP Tim Fun John, who confirmed the incident, said the Commissioner of Police, Ailara Wahid Adedamola, and other service commanders, including the Commissioner for Internal Security, have moved down to Umbo Local Council to ascertain the situation. This is coming after the abduction is coming few days after medical doctors downed tools over the kidnap of their colleague, Dr. John Robin Isu, who is still in the kidnapper's den nearly 3 weeks after. The police also said only last week ago the wife of Chief Asuko Eweme Ulap Okon, aka Leville, a prominent political figure, was also abducted in Oron. Deadly road crash has killed 7 persons after a trailer lost control and crushed 3 minibuses in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Eyewitness said the truck hit about 20 persons at the Imo State University Junction in Owerri after the driver lost control of the vehicle. Some of the victims were rushed to the Federal University of Technology Hospital Owerri for treatment, while 7 others confirmed dead had been deposited at the morgue. Police spokesperson ASP Henry Okoye is yet to make any comment on the matter. Civil Liberties Organization in Anambra State is calling for the unconditional release of an abducted popular Catholic priest, Reverend Father Basil Buzor, who has been in captivity for 4 days. Buzor, a priest of the Archdiocese of Onitsha, was abducted by some yet-to-be-identified gunmen at Ekengpo-Basi bypass in Idemili North local government area of Anambra State, and his whereabouts has remained unknown. A press statement by its chairman and secretary, Vincent Ezekweme and Chidi Mba, respectively, enjoined all Christians and people of goodwill to continue to pray for his urgent and immediate release to reunite with his family, as well as Catholic community and his loved ones. This is coming out of the Commissioner of Police in the state, CP Nange Obono Itam. Police operatives had launched a manhunt for the abductors and possible rescue of the priest. Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo has sacked all council transition committee chairmen across the 21 local government areas of the state. A statement signed by the State Commissioner for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Community Affairs, Colin Nwambuawani, said the order takes effect from Monday, May 20, 2024. The statement also said it was 10 years in January 2024 since the election were last held after the administrations of another former governor, Willie Obiano, and incumbent Soludo. This is coming after a forum organized by the International Peace and Civic Responsibility Center in collaboration with the African Center for Leadership and Development in December 2023. Stakeholders, including monarchs, clerics, and residents, urged Soludo to conduct elections in the 21 local governments in the state, adding that the governance is suffering at the grassroots due to the non-elected officials. Meanwhile, Soludo had, during the 2021 governorship campaign and even at his swearing-in as the state governor on March 17, 2022, assured the people he would conduct local government elections within 6 months in office. Police Command in Lagos State has confirmed the sudden death of a suspected man who came to watch television at a beer parlor in the state. The command's public relations officer, SP Benjamin Hundain, who confirmed this, said that the owner of the beer parlor, whose name was not mentioned, reported the case to Elere Police Division. He also said a customer whose name and address were yet unknown came to the beer parlor located along Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway at about 15 p.m. The image maker said the bar owner said the customer walked into the open bar to sit and watch television like any other customers, while some were drinking, and was later observed to be sleeping on the chair, and there was an attempt to wake him up, but they discovered that he was lifeless. Ekiti State Government has assured residents of Edaoniyo in Ileje-Meje local government area of the state to remain calm over the attack on the community. The State Commissioner for Information Rights, Honorable Taiwo Olatunbosun, in a statement in Ado-Ekiti, assured that the situation had been brought under control. Olatunbosun, who was reportedly killed in the fracas, stressed that soldiers, police and members of the Amotekun Corps had moved to the scene immediately to curtail the crisis. The commissioner assured that additional troops had already moved to the area to protect the community, while the army formation in Kwara State had been contacted to deploy troops along the Kwara side of the border in order to curtail further attacks from both sides. He expressed condolences to the family of the deceased and prayed for the quick recovery of those affected by the incident. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has described the death of Oba Aderemi Adedapo Alayemoro of Ido-Osun as touching and painful. He commiserated with the Traditional Council, the people of Ido-Osun, and the immediate family of Oba Adedapo. A statement by his spokesperson, Olawale Rashid Inosobo, Adeleke said the late monarch was a dedicated advocate for peace and progress of his domain. He also said the deceased monarch's exceptional professional background in the legal and architectural field cannot be overemphasized, which he brought to bear in advancing the interest of his people while he was alive. Oba Adedapo fell in early last week but died at the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital Complex, Ile-Ife, over the weekend. Jigawa State Governor Malam Umar Namadi says his administration would not tolerate or accept any breach of contractual agreement. The governor, who disclosed this while inspecting some ongoing projects across the state, said the inspected projects were mostly rehabilitation and reconstruction of the roads and bridges damaged by flooding in the last 2 years. Speaking to various contractors, Governor Namadi expressed satisfaction on the quality of the projects and urged them to speed up the work for a timely completion. He also said the state government had taken measures towards reconstruction of facilities damaged by flood last year. Over 386 people, mostly women and children, have regained their freedom by the Nigerian Army in Sambisa Forest 10 years after their abduction. The acting GOC 7 Division Brigadier General AGL Haruna, who disclosed this while speaking to newsmen at the outskirts of Sambisa Forest in Konduga local government area after welcoming the troops that conducted the 10-day operation. Haruna said the operation, tagged Operation Desert Sanity 111, was to clear Sambisa Forest of the remnants of all categories of terrorists. The GOC, who addressed the troops on the message of the Chief of Army Staff, lauded their performance and professionalism exhibited during the operation and urged them to sustain the tempo. Northeast Governors Forum said they are not particularly happy over the neglect of the region and decry the absence of federal government in the region. Speaking at the 10th NEGF meeting, which was held in Bauchi, had in attendance governors of Gombe, Muhammadu Yahaya, and Yobe, Maibuni, as well as Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, and Adamawa Amaju Finitiri, Taraba, Dr. Agbu Kefas, and Bauchi, Bala Mohammed. According to a communique signed by the forum chairman, Professor Babagana Zulum urged the federal government to prioritize the region to enhance its development. The governors also decried the blackout across the region and cautioned the transmission company of Nigeria on its poor handling of repairs, adding that it would wait till the agreed May 27th to see full restoration of power. Organized labor, comprising the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress, said they would not accept the 48,000 naira minimum wage offer proposed by the federal government, even though the organized private sector had proposed an initial offer of 54,000 naira as a monthly living wage. This is coming after the unions had dumped the minimum wage negotiation after the federal government offered to pay 48,000 naira, a figure far below the 615 naira the unions were demanding as the new national minimum wage. After abandoning the session, the furious labor leaders in an emergency press conference vented their displeasure with the offer, stating that it was an insult to the sensibilities of Nigerian workers. This was the second time in 2 weeks that the negotiation had run into trouble, while in the last session, held on April 29th, was deadlocked after organized labor insisted on 615,000 naira minimum wage and the federal government disagreed with labor's demand, stating that it was unreasonable. The national president of the NLC, Joe Ajaero, said the amount was arrived at after analyzing the current economic situation and the needs of an average Nigerian family of 6, and blamed the government and the organized private sector for the breakdown in negotiation, saying that despite earnest efforts to reach an equitable agreement, the less than reasonable action of the government and the organized private sector has led to a breakdown in negotiations. He stressed that Labour would only come back to the negotiation table when the FG shifts ground and considers paying workers a worthy wage, adding that the government must consider food inflation, electricity tariff hikes, and the removal of fuel subsidy before coming up with any amount as the minimum wage. Pan-Yoruba social, cultural, and political organization Anifere Fere is urging President Bola Tinubu to invoke an executive order for the establishment of state and local government police. Afeni Fere, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Jare Ajayi in Ibadan, also called for erection of closed-circuit television sets and deployment of modern technology in strategic locations for security purposes to end insecurity. He said the statement was motivated by the recent reports of banditry and kidnapping in Ogun, Edo-Ekiti, Oyo, Kogi, Zamfara, and Niger states, respectively, which made a research organization to declare Nigeria as one of the top nations where kidnap ranks highest globally. Ajayi decried why Fulani herders and farmers clashes kept occurring in Osun, Ondo, and Oyo State, Otu-Igbeti, and Alagba in Okeogun area of Oyo State being the latest victims. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pat, has faulted the message made by the Ministry of Defense on the approval of the creation of a new health maintenance organization for civil servants. The Ministry of Defense, in a statement on its website, said the health maintenance organization would be called the Federal Civil Service Health Maintenance Limited, while the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Defense, Dr. Ibrahim Abubakar Kana, said that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the creation of a new health maintenance organization to be called Federal Civil Service Health Maintenance Limited. Meanwhile, Professor Pat on his X handle said he was very surprised to see the message on a matter that is far from being concluded and urged the proponents of the projects not to conflate power with knowledge. Stakeholders, including former Minister of Sports and Special Duties Tawhida Dejo-Doja, Women Rights founder Joe Oke Odumakin, and a professor of public relations, Department of Mass Communication, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria Cosmos Eze, are calling on the federal government to prioritize monitoring the disbursement of student loans. The stakeholders said on June 12, 2023, President Bola Tinubu signed the Access to Higher Education Act 2023, allowing financially disadvantaged students to obtain interest-free loans for their education at any Nigerian tertiary institution, and on April 3, 2024, the President enacted the Student Loans Access to Higher Education Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024. This allowed separate reviews by both the Senate and the House of Representatives of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Funds report, adding that qualified students lacking financial resources can apply for sufficient funding to study at government-owned tertiary institutions, while President Bola Tinubu appointed renowned banker Jim Ovia as the chairman of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund ahead of the scheme's launch on May 24th. Adedoja, a professor of special education and former dean of education at Bayero University, Kano, said once the board commences disbursement, the challenges to be met will be appropriately addressed, while the pro-democracy campaigner and Women Arise founder Jorioke Odumakin described the initiative as noble, but cautioned the Tinubu-led government against allowing the scheme to be manipulated for political purposes. Federal government says it is planning to launch a multi-year accelerated senior secondary education program targeted at overhauling school infrastructure, modernizing curricula, and integrating virtual learning technologies. A statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the Vice President on Media and Communications, Stanley Nwokocha, said the initiative is a major policy drive to breach the gaping educational divide in the country, beginning from the northeast region, while the federal government moves to overhaul school infrastructure. Unveiling the initiative in Bauchi State, Vice President Kashim Shettima said the comprehensive phased program aims to rapidly upgrade secondary school education across three core pillars, including the enhancement of access to tertiary institutions, imparting market-relevant skills, and upskilling teachers to stay ahead of disruptive innovations like artificial intelligence. Shettima also said the initiative directly addresses President Bola Tinubu's vision to confront the Northeast's multifaceted challenges, from the security crisis to stagnant human capital outcomes, adding that each person occupies their current position due to the privilege of education made possible by someone along the way who provided an environment for learning and incentives to continue, a tradition he said must not be broken. He said the vast disparity in quality of life between those who embrace education and those who do not serve as a glaring and lasting reminder of the profound benefits education provides. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has declared a couple, Kazim Omogoriola Owolade and Rashidat Ayinke Owolade, wanted for dealing with illegal substances. NDLEA said the development followed the arrest of 4 members of the syndicate in Lagos, where a sports utility vehicle was recovered in 2 houses already traced to them and sealed for forfeiture to the federal government. A statement by Femi Babafemi, the NDLEA's Director of Media and Advocacy, said 2 members of the syndicate, Imran Taufik Olalekan and Ishola Isaika Olalekan, were arrested on April 3, 2024, following their bid to export 3.40 kilograms cocaine on a Qatar Airlines flight going to Oman through the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. While Imran was the carrier conveying the drug consignment to Oman, and Ishola recruited him for the head of the cartel, which investigation has now revealed to be Alhaji Kazim Omogriola Owolade, whose Indian residence permits bears Abdul Kasim Adisa, Balogun based in India. Federal government has rejected the planned alliance between former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi. According to the presidency, President Bola Tinubu is not bothered about the planned alliance and was not losing sleep over alliance plots by Atiku and Obi. This is coming after Atiku had contested the presidency in 2023 on the platform of the People's Democratic Party but lost. Obi also contested the presidential candidate on the platform of the Labour Party and came 3rd in the election, while last week Obi held a private meeting with Atiku and some other PDP leaders in Abuja. Obi also met separately with former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido and former Senate President Bukola Saraki, sparking speculations about a possible coalition for the 2027 general elections. Obi said a merger between the PDP and Labour Party was possible, while Atiku stressed that party members should decide their fate in the 2027 general elections. Reacting to the planned alliance, the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, said the federal government was not worried about the planned merger or alliance. International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law, Inter-Society, has called for a total overhaul of the country's electoral acts in the view of the aftermath of the governorship election held in Imo State in November last year. It said the expected reform should reflect in the areas of side-by-side use for electronic and manual voting, detachment of electoral courts from regular courts, as well as total elimination of judicial technicalities. The group made the demand at a press briefing in Enugu, which was addressed by Emeka Omegbalasi, Board Chair, Inter-Society Anayo Okoli, Board Member Chidima Udegbunam, Esquire, Head of Publicity Professor Jerry Chukwokolo, and Engineer Nkemwoke Nwandu. Inter-Society also said its call for electoral reforms was hinged on the outcome of the 2023 general elections, which worsened during the off-cycle of circle governorship election in Imo State, adding that there should be a system that allows popular participation, including access to PVCs, unsecured voting environment, and voting materials. The group alleged that Imo State has since January 2021 become a safe haven for state actor and non-actor unlawful killings, ritualism, maiming, abductions for religious radicalism, and abductions for ransom and forced disappearances, as well as custodial and captivity torture and exterminations, gender violence, including rape and forceful conversions, on the ground of radical religion, house burnings, political thievery and violence, election rigging, abuse of power, and political corruption. Analysts have condemned same-sex couples' marriage blessing across the Christian community, describing it as defiling and ungodly. A public affairs analyst, Nweke Emmanuel, said God's original plan for mankind was between a man and a woman for the purpose of procreation.
The Bible says that we should go into the world and progenate, have offsprings, and in that regard, he said he made us, for that reason, he made us male females. Meaning that he's in the contemplation of the Creator, being God. He did not think that a male will bring forth children. It is the natural responsibility or ordering of the woman to so do. So I will find certain thought from no matter from where it is coming from.
Emmanuel Weke also referenced from the Holy Scriptures that condemns same-sex affairs.
You look at the other side of it, where St. Paul was talking to the people, I think in Corinthians also, that he was warning against same-sex. Do you understand? Homogeneous sex, he warned against it. There are such people who do things that are not convenient to a human. Are you get what I'm saying? And again, let me also defend it as an African. It's a taboo. It's a taboo to hold a fellow man in a manner that you should hold a woman. Are you get what I'm saying? And in this part of our culture, I do not think it offends the Bible, because it stands the same form as the Bible biblically.
This is coming after Pope Francis had clarified his position on allowing Catholic priests to bless same-sex couples, adding that allowing same-sex couples to be blessed is an expression of the Church's maternal heart. You are watching Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break.
We just vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Roads so no day. Light outside. The infrastructure it can't turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I I'm hearing you.
Yes, we saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. We call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract where we do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old since. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap him.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shout beer in our house, I could pay that one. You remember say me and tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, they pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? We they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time. Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure?
Sure.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Okay, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you no read again.
Which time did I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You the electrician?
The electrician.
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you know good now. You don't you said you know they behave like tea, all these stiff people.
Oh, what you change from your motor? What you change from?
Two lights. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what now? You for come out for home my motor. I better identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. And do something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want to buy?
Potato. Small basket. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy am.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has appointed his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuro Ngelale, as Nigeria's special presidential envoy on climate action. This is coming after President Bola Tinubu established a 25-person committee to oversee the country's green economic initiatives. Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, in a statement signed by its Director of Information and Public Relations Segun Imoesin said Ngelale will serve in this role as a part of a larger presidential committee chaired by the president. Imoesin said the Presidential Committee on Climate Action and Green Economic Solutions will coordinate and oversee all policies and programs on climate action and green economic development, and also remove the constraints to coordination, foster a whole government approach to climate actions programs, provide an efficient governance architecture, and ensure that all relevant institutions in the sector are plugged into the President's vision and are collectively implementing the renewed hope agenda on climate action. The new committee, which has the President as its chairman, also includes the Minister of Environment, Balarabe Lawal, as its vice chairman, and Ajuru Ngelale as its secretary and special presidential envoy. Federal government says it is set to launch national policies and guidelines on organ transplants, allowing to several cases involving unethical practices in organ donation and transplantation. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, disclosed this during the Living Kidney Donor Day event organized by NISA Medical Group in Abuja. Pate, who was represented by the head of the Trauma and Emergency Disaster Response Division, Department of Hospital Services, Camille Shiratire, said 843.6 million persons around the globe were suffering from chronic kidney diseases as of 2017, adding that new national guidelines on organ transplants would soon be introduced, while expressing concerns about the increase in cases of kidney problems and unethical practices in organ transplants in the country. The minister also said the necessity of investing in awareness campaigns and equally commended the NISA Medical Group for the initiative aimed at preventing kidney-related health issues among the people, while the number of patients affected by chronic kidney disease has also been increasingly affecting an estimated 843.6 million individuals worldwide as of 2017. Pate also said the federal government is committed to the health initiative, while Chief Executive Officer NISA Medical Group Ibrahim Wada, in collaboration with the Clarion Call Care Foundation, urged the federal government to present the guidelines on the initiative while calling for all hands to be on deck. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of the Infrastructure Corporation of Nigeria as the lead arranger and developer of Evergreen City, Nigeria's Green Industrial Zone, according to a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuru Ngelale, said the appointment was in line with the President's commitment to ensuring industrial development that meets the demands of the present and the future. The statement listed the terms of reference for the Green Industrial Zone to include selection of partners, consultants to undertake critical development activities, including project design, environmental impact assessments, as well as feasibility studies, financial modeling, and market engagement. Others are raising private funding for the development of the city and constituent projects, as well as coordinating with partners, development institutions, and other providers of capital and technical assistance. Tinubu also approved the establishment of the Presidential Steering Committee on Project Evergreen, which will serve as a supervisory technical working group to oversee the pioneering endeavor. The statement said President Tinubu expects absolute dedication and professionalism to drive the critical project, with the clear objective of making Nigeria the leading manufacturing hub in Africa for renewable energy technologies, green solutions, and climate adaptation technologies for the maximum benefit of Nigerians and Africans at large. House of Representatives Committee Chairman on Health Institutions, Amos Magaji, is calling for sustained financial investment in the federal teaching hospitals across the country. He said this will be in line with the renewed hope agenda of the President Bola Tinubu-led administration for the betterment of the citizenry. Magaji disclosed this during an oversight visit of the members of his committee to the Federal University of Health Sciences Teaching Hospital, Otukpo, and stressed the need to allocate more funds in health sector, considering the primary responsibility of health institutions in the country. Magaji appreciated the Chief Medical Director and his management staff for showing interest in the growth of the teaching hospital, considering the tremendous achievements recorded within a period of 1 year, and assured that he would work with his members to ensure that more funds are made available to develop the needed infrastructure, including the medical equipment, to meet up with the expectations of the people. While welcoming the committee, the Chief Medical Director, Professor Silas Ochejele, appreciated the federal government for the establishment of the teaching hospital in Otukpo, which has drastically changed the medical services narratives in the state, and thanked the House of Representatives Committee on Health Institutions for the pains to come down to Otukpo, and believed that the visit has made them to see things themselves, which would go a long way in repositioning the hospital for the betterment of the people. Now to business news. Federal government says it has successfully adopted compressed natural gas to reduce inflation, which soared to 33.69% in April 2024. The program director of the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas, Michael Luabemi, who disclosed this during a one-day South-South and Southeast stakeholders engagement meeting in Port Harcourt, River State, said Nigerians can realize between 40 to 50% savings from petrol upon adopting CNG. He also said Nigeria would save about $2.5 billion by converting every 1 million vehicles to compressed natural gas. Development Bank of Nigeria says it has disbursed 787 billion naira to over 495,000 micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises. The Development Bank said it prioritized women and youths in the disbursement of funds, given their roles in sustainable economic development, while more than 3,500 SMMEs were trained by the bank in a wide range of courses, such as essentials of a business plan, accounting, bookkeeping, marketing and branding, business sustainability, environmental and social risk governance, among others. Commenting on DBN's impact in 2023, its Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Tony Okpanachi, said the year 2023 has marked another significant milestone for DBN and will continue to make meaningful contributions to the growth and development of Nigeria's economy, adding that through our strategic projects and initiatives, they have empowered SMMEs, facilitated job creation, and promoted inclusive economic growth across various sectors. Okpanachi also said that the bank established several partnerships with notable entrepreneurship-oriented organizations such as LBS, Google, GIZ, FSFM, GAIN, and others, while the bank recorded gross earnings of 52.4 billion naira and a profit tax of 35.3 billion naira. He attributed the performance to the improved support it received from its development partners and other critical stakeholders who were committed to its vision of alleviating financing constraint faced by the micro, small and medium enterprises and small corporations in the country. United States says the reintroduction of an air transport agreement with Nigeria was to strengthen bilateral aviation ties between the two countries. A statement by the Public Diplomacy Department of the U.S. Mission in Nigeria said the agreement, which had provisionally been applied since 2000, was mooted to establish a modern civil aviation relationship between the two countries. The bilateral agreement establishes a modern civil aviation relationship with Nigeria that is consistent with U.S. Open Skies international aviation policy and with commitments to high standards of aviation, safety and security. Given the essence of the agreement, the Public Diplomacy Department of the U.S. Mission also said the benefits included provisions that allowed for unrestricted capacity and frequency of services, as well as open route right, a liberal charter regime, and open code stating opportunities. Dangote Oil Refinery is set to put an end to the monthly importation of an average of 1 billion litres of premium motor spirit in Nigeria. Chairman of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, who disclosed this, said that Nigeria would end petrol imports the moment the refinery starts selling the product in June. This is coming after the country's monthly petrol import was reduced by 1 billion litres when President Bola Tinubu removed fuel subsidies in June. The National Bureau of Statistics report said the country received fuel importation of 2.9 litres in January 2023. while 1.99 billion litres was imported in February of the same year. Dangote also said his refinery can meet West Africa's petrol and diesel needs as well as the continent's aviation fuel demand, while Nigerians are expressing mixed reactions about the refinery. Now to international tidbits. German ambassador to Nigeria, Annette Gunther, says trade relations between Federal Republic of Nigeria and Federal Republic Germany currently stands at about 3 billion euros. Gunther, who disclosed this in Abuja, said that the trade relations between both countries had grown over the years and grew from 2 billion euros in 2022 to the current figure of 3 billion euros, with a balance of trade in favor of Nigeria because of the oil export. She said there was the potential for improvement on trade relations, which both countries were currently working on, especially in the area of agriculture. The envoy also said many German delegations had attended trade fairs in Lagos, like the Agri-Food Festival, with German companies participating and having one of the biggest pavilions, and further explained that the German Chamber of Trade and Commerce in Lagos represented German companies in the country. Gunther commended steps taken by President Bola Tinubu to reform the country's economy. Democratic Republic of Congo Army says it has quashed an attempted coup against President Felix Tshisekedi in the capital Kinshasa involving Congolese and foreign fighters. DR Congo Army spokesperson Brigadier General Sylvain Ikenge said several suspects have been detained and the situation is now under control. He said hours after armed men attacked the house of Vital Kamerhe, the former chief of staff and close ally to President Tshisekedi, early witnesses say a group of about 20 assailants in army uniform attacked the residence and an exchange of gunfire followed. It was reported that the assailants were members of the New Zaire movement linked to formerly exiled politician Christian Malanga. 2 guards and an assailant were killed in the attack on Kamerhe's house, the spokesman and the Japanese ambassador said in post on X. President Tshisekedi has not made any public comment on the situation so far. Japan's ambassador in the Congolese capital has warned nationals not to go out. Helicopter carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi crashed today afternoon in northwestern Iran. It is unclear if Raisi and others on board with him survived the crash, and the incident happened while the president was visiting neighboring Azerbaijan. Iran's interior minister said rescue teams are on the way to the site of the incident. The 63-year-old Raisi was elected president at the second attempt in 2021, and since taking office has ordered a tightening of morality laws, overseen a bloody crackdown on anti-government protests, and pushed hard in nuclear talks with world powers. Slovakia Prime Minister Robert Fico's life is no longer in danger 4 days after he was shot in an assassination attempt. The country's Deputy Prime Minister Robert Kalinak said his condition is still required intensive care, but that the worst we feared, at least for now, has passed and has undergone hours of surgery since he was shot. A man charged with his attempted murder was placed in custody until his trial. The alleged assailant has not been formally named, but Slovak reports have widely identified him as a 71-year-old Juraj Cintula from the town of Levis. Local media have described him as a poet who has been involved in political organizations with various ideologies. Mr. Kalinak also said in a previous update that the Prime Minister had suffered 4 gunshot wounds, 2 light, 1 medium and 1 serious. Russia is increasingly using glide bombs that is highly destructive to advance its offensive in Ukraine. More than 200 of them are thought to have been used in just a week to pound Ukraine's northern town of Vovchansk during Russia's current cross-border advance near Kharkiv, while President Vladimir Zelensky said about 3,000 of such bombs were dropped on the country in March alone. Vovchansk Police Chief Oleksiy Kharkivsky has seen the impact of glide bombs up close, adding that mass use of glide bombs by Russia is a relatively recent development and has proven devastating for Ukrainian forces in recent months. Glide bombs are built by adding fold-out wings and satellite navigation to old Soviet bombs that are cheap but destructive. A recent report by the Center for European Policy Analysis said they were decisive in February's capture of the once heavily fortified key eastern town of Avdiivka, while Russian forces are now using glide bombs to attack the northern city of Kharkiv, but Ukraine has so far struggled to counter them. Now to sports news. Former Sporting Lagos head coach Paul Ofor says the reason for his dismissal by the club was part of some of the decisions he took during his time at the club cost him his job. He said he has no regrets for his action. This is coming after Ofor was sacked following the team's struggles in the Nigeria Premier Football League. Confederation of African Football has officially announced venue and kickoff time for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying fixture between Nigeria and Benin Republic. The March Day 3 encounter would hold at the Felix Hobofe-Biogni Stadium, Abidjan, on Monday, June 10th, and the game will kick off at 5 p.m. Nigeria time. Benin Republic have not been permitted to host matches at their home grounds, as they are not suitable to host international games. Ethiopia's Bamlak Tsema Weyesa has already been appointed center referee for the game. The Super Eagles will host Bafana Bafana of South Africa at the Gospel Apabio International Stadium, Uyo, on Friday, June 7th, before the clash with Gernot Rohr's men, while the three-time African champions are still searching for their first win in the qualifiers. Now to entertainment news. Nigerian disc jockey Florence Otedola, popularly known as DJ Copy, says she loves sharing her experiences with other women so that they can learn from and avoid the mistakes she made. According to her, every lesson learned is an opportunity to help someone else succeed. This is coming after DJ Copy said in March that one of her biggest regrets is not saying no to her estranged fiancé, Ryan Taylor. Copy and Ryan parted ways in July 2023, barely 7 months after their shocking engagement in November 2022. Popular Ghanaian rapper Sakudai has denied feuding with Nigerian Afrobeat superstars Wizkid, Davido and Burna Boy. This is coming after Sakudai sparked controversy after bragging that he was in the music industry before Wizkid, Davido and Burna Boy in his latest song, Brag. The controversy also caused friction between former Davido's signee, Dremo, and Sakudai's signee, Lyrical Joe, both of whom have been releasing new diss tracks daily. He also said if he wanted to throw jabs, his target would have been rappers, not singers. Veteran Nigerian singer Daddy Shoki says he was almost lynched to death when he was involved in gang activities in Ikorodu, Lagos State. According to him, he and some young men found a gun at a refuse dump and started terrorizing people with it until one fateful day when they were caught and almost lynched. The veteran singer said if he could attain legendary status despite his turbulent childhood experience, anyone could achieve greatness if they worked towards such. He also said one of his gang members was later caught and lynched to death. And that's the Global News for tonight.